going on, everybody? Mike from United in Strength here. Welcome to my latest video. Please subscribe to my channel if you're new. More videos to come soon. This is the accompanying video to my latest article, Back Extensions for a Stronger Workout, and the link will be below. Also, please be sure to follow me on Instagram and on Tumblr and Facebook if you haven't yet. Back extensions. There's so many things you can say about back extensions. The 45-degree back extension station, you've probably seen one or two of them in your commercial gym or even your independent, more intimate gym setting if you are in that kind of environment like I normally train in. You're also probably aware by now that back extensions are in fact a fan-freaking-tastic exercise for strengthening your lower back and your entire posterior chain. So not only is your lower back being targeted, but you're especially hitting your glutes, which is the primary target, believe it or not, and your hamstrings. At this point in your training, depending on who you are, what your goals are, doesn't matter what your goals are, you've probably been taught by fitness gurus, magazines, your own personal trainer, or who knows what, to include them in the latter part of your workout as an isolation and or accessory movement, and rightfully so. But did you ever consider the benefits of training your lower back as a preventative measure to before hitting a compound lift as opposed to afterward? I wonder. Isolating the lower back before you even begin the actual workout. This goes back to the very first 5x5 article published by Reg Park, Arnold Schwarzenegger's idol. And if Reg Park is Arnold Schwarzenegger's idol, you need to listen to anything he says, because if it wasn't for him, there'd be no Arnold. And Arnold knows what he's talking about because Reg Park knows what he's talking about. Back extensions were included at the very beginning of every training day, and Reg would prescribe 3 sets of 10 every single training day. You heard that correctly. As a matter of fact, my client Dan, he'll tell you, I have him start off with back extensions, 3 sets of 10 every single workout to strengthen the lower back. It didn't matter what the workout entailed, so long as you started every single one with back extensions. There are, in fact, quite a few benefits that come from moving the exercise from the latter portion of your workouts to the very beginning. And we're going to talk about those 2 or 3 things right now. Increased overall core strength. You read that right. In terms of core strength, it's easy to associate ab training with basically everything you see in the front. So a lot of people, if it's not a show muscle in the front, it doesn't matter, right? So you think of the abs, you think of crunches, Roman chair sit-ups, stuff like that, planks, side planks, etc., all boom shakalaka, right? But your lower back is what generates the strength required for a relative to you heavy set of squats, deadlifts, and overhead presses. And since you'll be performing back extensions now in the very beginning, you can also add weights and do what I do and even add band tension, resistance bands, because tension forces you to work harder, which means you can work faster. And that is so beneficial for hip drive. Hip drive is so crucial for squats and for deadlifts. Not for overhead presses, but for the 2 things I just mentioned before. So important, more than anything else. Strong hips, fast hips equals strong squat and deadlift, and a fast one at that. If you're not convinced yet, I personally have seen a major difference in my own training. I had been much like the rest of you performing back extensions in the latter part of my workout. Starting sometime in the late summer, early fall, I began doing back extensions early on in my workouts. September 20th, 2018, I pulled 375 pounds for a single with the help of my Inzer Forever belt for the first time since before I tore the cartilage in my wrist. For those of you who don't know, I tore this cartilage here in December 2017, and it took me 4 months before I could start training again. Fast forward to December 2018, with the inclusion of back extensions into the beginning of my workouts as opposed to the middle or the end of the workout, using them for every single workout, and the ability to add band tension and weights, I was able to deadlift 370 pounds for 3 reps and without the help of my Inzer Forever belt. What does that mean? That means that the added tension and the fact that I was able to hit my lower back when it wasn't tired helped me to improve my overall core strength, because the quality of my workout, the quality of my deadlifts went up, the strength of my deadlifts went up. I could barely do 375 for a single. Now I'm doing 370 for a triple. It was a lot easier than expected, and I didn't need my belt. So what does that mean? It means that a stronger back makes for a stronger, more quality workout. So that's something to think about right there. The last thing I want to talk about, injury prevention. Anytime you perform any kind of isolation accessory workout, or exercise rather, following any kind of compound movement, you're going to risk some kind of injury or strain, which is very annoying. I'd rather the injury than the strain, because the strain is just nagging. You're going to be tired, and it's going to cause you to lack some kind of concentration or focus. You might lose your form. There's a misgroup or a misstep. It doesn't matter what the accessory movement is. If you're a little too tired and you're not doing something relatively light or moderate for you, you will get hurt. We don't want that. On the opposite end of that, performing a compound movement without a true warm-up for the lower back can also lead to the same risk. And performing a deadlift or a squat with a weak lower back can lead to far more disastrous results. And neither you or I want that for your training. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, being that I've since incorporated back extensions to the very beginning of my routines, I have been able to not just add tension, which I just did tension for a long time to get used to the movement pattern and practice proper motor patterns. I also have been able to add a considerable amount of weight. Right before I got sick on Valentine's Day this past year, like right after my monumental 400-pound deadlift, which there's a video of, and I will include that in the description below, by the way, I was able to add up to 90 pounds on my back extension plus band tension for one set of 10 reps. And on that last set, I would do what I was taught by my old trainer, Mike Stanlaw, over a decade ago. Hold it at the bottom portion of the rep to get a nice stretch for 15 to 30 seconds, and then bring it right back up and hold it for as long as I could, maybe 10, 15 seconds. My advice for those of you looking to try the back extension as a preventative measure, start off with just 3 sets of 10 for maybe a week, 2 weeks max, depends. It's all up to you. Just to get used to the movement pattern, as I mentioned earlier. After that, slowly add weight each training day and increase it slowly. How you do that is going to be up to you. I would start off with doing straight set of 5 pounds after a while, and then a straight set of 7.5. And once I would get to a point where it was too heavy, I would start doing ramping sets, and then just do one big set. But that's up to you. That's all auto-regulation, and you have to determine that. I cannot. But if you would like to, drop me a line. I would love to work with you. If you want, you could also add resistance bands, but that's all depending on your goals and your agenda. I added resistance band after 2 weeks, and then I worked with resistance band, just a resistance band, for a couple of weeks. And once I felt like I was ready, that's when I started adding the weight. And that was probably back in November when I switched to a hypertrophy style of training. Again, keep it incremental with the weight increases. If your gym has small incremental dumbbells, 7.5 pounds, 12.5 pounds, 17.5 pounds, and onward, do yourself a favor and take advantage of those, because you will be able to avoid stagnation and a potential injury. And it would be ironic that you would hurt yourself when the whole point of this is to avoid an injury. All right, that is my video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully more to come soon. Like I said earlier, follow me on Instagram and Tumblr and on Facebook. I am also available for online personal training or one-to-one personal training if you live in the North Jersey area. I really look forward to hearing from you. Take care of yourself.